I'm going to tell you something that will probably make you angry. You're going to waste the next 10 years of your life, maybe 20, possibly more. Not because you're lazy or stupid or weak, but because nobody's going to tell you what I'm about to tell you. And even if they do, you probably won't believe them. I didn't. I'm 73 years old, and I wasted 52 years of my life chasing something that doesn't exist. And the worst part? I was absolutely convinced I was doing everything right. Let me start with the moment everything changed. It was a Wednesday afternoon in March 2003. I was 52 years old, sitting in my corner office on the 14th floor of a building in downtown Seattle. I had just closed the biggest deal of my career. 3 years of work, $40 million contract, my name on the paperwork. This was supposed to be my crowning achievement. I remember standing at the window, looking out at the city, waiting to feel something. Pride, maybe, satisfaction. That sense of arrival I'd been chasing my entire adult life. Nothing came. Just this hollow feeling in my chest, like I'd won a game I didn't care about. My assistant knocked on the door. "Your wife called. Third time today." I hadn't called her back. I'd been too busy, too important, too focused on this deal that was going to change everything. "I'll call her later," I said. I didn't call her later. You want to know what that phone call was about? My son's college acceptance letter had arrived. He'd gotten into Stanford, his first choice, the school he'd been dreaming about since he was 14. And he wanted to tell me, wanted to hear me say I was proud of him. I didn't call him back that day, or the next day. By the time I finally called, 3 days later, that moment was gone. The excitement in his voice was gone. He just said, "Yeah, Dad, I got in. Mom told you, right? That's great, son. I'm really proud of you." But the moment had passed. I'd missed it, and we both knew it. I tell you this because it wasn't an isolated incident. It was a pattern I'd been repeating for 25 years without even realizing it. But here's the thing that haunts me. I thought I was doing the right thing. I genuinely believed that working 70-hour weeks, missing family dinners, skipping school events, sacrificing time with the people I loved, I believed all of that was necessary, that I was being responsible, that I was providing, that I was building something that mattered. I was building something, all right. Just not what I thought. Let me take you back further, to where this all started. I grew up in a small town in Oregon. My father worked at a lumber mill. My mother was a secretary. We weren't poor, but we weren't comfortable either. I watched my parents stress about money my entire childhood. Every unexpected expense was a crisis. Every bill was a negotiation about what we could afford to pay. I remember being 12 years old, listening to my parents argue through thin walls about whether they could afford to fix the car or if Dad would just have to bike to work in the rain. I remember my mother crying at the kitchen table, trying to figure out how to make $200 stretch through the end of the month. And I made myself a promise that night. This will never be my life. I will never struggle like this. I will be successful. I will make enough money that my family never has to worry. That promise shaped everything that came after. I worked my ass off in school, got a scholarship to University of Washington, studied business and finance, graduated near the top of my class, got recruited by a consulting firm in Seattle, started at the bottom and climbed, and I mean climbed. 80-hour weeks, weekends in the office, taking every assignment, every project, every opportunity to prove myself, learning everything, becoming indispensable. I met Jennifer when I was 26. She was a teacher, kind, patient, grounded in a way I wasn't. We dated for 2 years, got married, bought a small house in the suburbs, had our son Michael 2 years later, then our daughter Claire 3 years after that. And the whole time I was working, building, climbing, making more money each year, moving into bigger houses, better cars, better vacations. I thought I was winning. Jennifer would say things like, "The kids miss you," or "When are you going to slow down?" And I'd say, "Soon, once I make partner, once we pay off the house, once I build up our savings, then I'll slow down." The goalpost kept moving. Made partner at 38. Did I slow down? No. Now I had to maintain my position, had to prove I deserved it, had to bill more hours, bring in bigger clients, show I was indispensable. Paid off the house at 42? Did I slow down? No. Now we needed to save for the kids' college and retirement. And what if something unexpected happened? We needed a bigger cushion, more security. Michael graduated high school at 43. I missed most of his childhood, not all of it. I was there sometimes, birthday parties, some baseball games, a few school plays, but I missed most of it, the daily stuff, the mundane moments that, looking back, were everything. I have exactly 3 clear memories of Michael between ages 8 and 15. 3 in 7 years. That should have been a warning sign. It wasn't. Claire graduated high school at 46. Same story, different kid, same absence. And then, at 52, something happened that I didn't see coming. Jennifer asked for a divorce, not because of another man, not because of some dramatic betrayal, simply because, as she put it, "I've been married to a ghost for 20 years, and I'm tired." I was blindsided, genuinely shocked. We never fought. We had a nice house, good kids, money in the bank. What was the problem? "You're never here, Tom," she said. We were sitting in our kitchen, the same kitchen where we'd had 1,000 meals, made 1,000 decisions, lived an entire life together. Except we hadn't really. She had lived there. I had just passed through. "I'm here now," I said stupidly. She laughed, but not in a mean way, in a sad way. "You're physically here sometimes, but you're never actually here. When's the last time we had a real conversation? When's the last time you asked me about my day and actually listened to the answer? When's the last time you were present with your own family?" I didn't have an answer. "I'm 50 years old," she continued, "and I don't want to spend the rest of my life waiting for you to show up. I'm done waiting." The divorce was civil. We split everything fairly. The kids were adults by then, so no custody battles. Jennifer got the house. I moved into a condo downtown, closer to the office. And you know what I did after my marriage ended? I worked more, because that's all I knew how to do. Work was comfortable. Work made sense. Work had clear metrics and achievable goals and concrete rewards. Life was messy and complicated and full of feelings I didn't know how to process, so I avoided it by working. For 6 months after the divorce, I lived like a robot. Wake up at 5 a.m., gym, office by 7, work until 8 or 9 p.m., home, microwave dinner, Netflix, sleep, repeat. Weekends weren't much different. I'd go into the office, or I'd work from home, or I'd meet clients for golf, which was just work disguised as recreation. My kids would call occasionally. Dutiful calls. "Hi, Dad. How are you?" We'd talk for 10 minutes about nothing. Weather, work, surface-level updates about their lives. Then we'd hang up and I wouldn't hear from them for another few weeks. I had built exactly the life I'd promised myself I would build. Financial security, professional success, respect in my field, a reputation as someone who gets things done. And I was completely, utterly alone. Then came the Wednesday afternoon in my corner office. The big deal, the hollow victory. My assistant telling me my wife had called, except she wasn't my wife anymore, and I'd missed another important moment with my son. I stood at that window for a long time, maybe an hour, just staring out at the city, watching tiny people move through their tiny lives, and something cracked inside me. Not dramatically, not like a breakdown, just a small crack, a whisper of a question I'd been ignoring for decades. What am I doing? I had achieved everything I set out to achieve, everything my 12-year-old self had promised in that small house in Oregon. I had the money, the success, the security, but I didn't have a life. I had a career, I had assets, I had a reputation, but I didn't have people who really knew me. I didn't have deep connections. I didn't have meaning beyond my job title and my bank account. And for the first time in my adult life, I allowed myself to feel the weight of what I'd traded away. My marriage, my relationships with my kids, my friendships which had withered from neglect, my hobbies which I'd abandoned years ago as unproductive, my health which I'd neglected in favor of desk work and stress, my self, whoever that was beneath the professional persona I'd constructed. I had optimized my life for achievement and forgotten to optimize it for living. That night, instead of working late, I went home. I sat in my empty condo with a glass of whiskey I didn't really want, and I did something I hadn't done in 20 years. I thought about what I actually wanted, not what I was supposed to want, not what would impress people, not what made financial sense. What I, Tom Mitchell, actually wanted from whatever time I had left. And I couldn't answer the question because I'd spent so long being what everyone else needed me to be. The provider, the achiever, the responsible one, the guy who gets it done, that I had no idea who I actually was underneath all that. At 52 years old, I was a stranger to myself. That realization didn't hit me all at once. It accumulated over weeks. Every time I sat alone in my condo, every awkward phone call with my kids where we had nothing to say, every weekend with nowhere to go and nobody to see, every moment I wasn't working and had to face the fact that work was the only thing I had. 3 months after the divorce was finalized, I had what I can only describe as a reckoning. I was at my daughter Claire's apartment for dinner. She was 27, living in Portland, working as a graphic designer. She'd invited me down for the weekend. A peace offering, maybe, an attempt to rebuild something. We were having a nice enough time. She'd cooked pasta. We were drinking wine, making small talk. And then she said something casual, offhand, that destroyed me. You know, Dad, I don't really know you. Like, I know about you. I know you're successful and smart and worked hard, but I don't know who you actually are. Your favorite movie, what makes you laugh, what you're afraid of, what you dream about. I don't know any of that. She wasn't saying it to hurt me. She was just stating a fact, an observation. And she was right. She didn't know me because I'd never let her know me. I'd been too busy being Dad the provider to be Dad the person. What do you want to know? I asked, my voice cracking. She looked at me with this expression I'll never forget. Sad, hopeful, tentative. Everything, she said. I want to know everything, but I don't know if there's anything there to know. You've been the same person my whole life. Work Tom, success Tom, distant Tom. Is there anything else? I couldn't answer her because I didn't know. That night, driving back to Seattle, I pulled over at a rest stop and cried for the first time in probably 15 years. Just sat in my car in the dark parking lot and sobbed. Not for my marriage, not even for the lost time with my kids, though that was part of it. I cried because I had wasted 52 years becoming someone I didn't even like. Someone with accomplishments, but no life. Someone successful, but hollow. And the truly terrifying part? I had no idea how to change. I'd been running on the same program for so long that I didn't know how to stop. Didn't know who I'd be if I wasn't Tom the Achiever. Didn't know if there was anything underneath the persona I'd built. But but I knew I had to try. Because the alternative was spending the next 20 years exactly like this, dying slowly in an empty condo, respected but unloved, successful but alone. That rest stop moment, crying in the dark at 52 years old, was the beginning of everything that came after. The beginning of me actually learning how to live. Part 2, the life I didn't know I was missing. The next morning, I did something I hadn't done in 30 years. I called in sick to work. I wasn't sick, I just needed a day. One day where I didn't have to be Tom the consultant, Tom the partner, Tom who had his shit together. I spent that day walking around Seattle. No destination, no agenda. Just walking, watching people live their lives. A couple sharing coffee and laughing. A father teaching his kid to skateboard, patient and present. A group of old men playing chess, arguing and joking like they'd been doing this for decades. These tiny, ordinary moments. And I felt like I was watching life through a window I'd never been invited through. That night I called my brother, Danny. We'd been close as kids, but we'd drifted apart. Different lives, different priorities. Tom? He sounded surprised. Everything okay? Yeah, no, I don't know. I paused. Can we talk? We talked for 3 hours. I told him about the divorce, about Claire's question, about feeling like I'd wasted my entire life. He listened. Then he said something that changed everything. You know what your problem is, Tom? You've been so busy trying to be impressive that you forgot to be interested in anything, in anyone, including yourself. He was right. I'd spent 52 years optimizing, achieving, becoming the best version of professional Tom I could be, but I'd never stopped to ask, what do I actually care about? What brings me joy? I had no idea. So figure it out, Danny said. You're 52, not dead. You've got time, but you have to actually use it. The next week, I took a leave of absence from work. 6 months, unpaid. My partners thought I was insane. My kids were skeptical, but I needed to. The first month was hell. I didn't know what to do with myself. No meetings, no deadlines, no structure. Then one morning, I walked past a community center and saw a sign. Beginning guitar, Tuesday nights, all ages. Welcome. I hadn't played an instrument since high school, but something made me sign up. That Tuesday, I sat in a room with 12 other beginners. We all sucked, badly. Our fingers fumbled. We made sounds that barely qualified as music, and I loved it. For the first time in decades, I was doing something with no goal, no metric for success. I wasn't trying to be the best. I was just playing, badly, joyfully. That guitar class became the first thread. Then came others. I started volunteering at a food bank, not because it looked good, but because I wanted to do something tangible, something that mattered in an immediate way. I joined a book club, started cooking. Actually cooking, not microwaving. These things sound small, trivial even. But they were teaching me something I'd never learned, how to exist without achieving, how to do things just because they brought me joy. I was learning how to be a person. Around month 3, Claire came to visit. She walked into my condo and stopped. What happened here? I'd made changes, real art on the walls, books everywhere, my guitar out in the open, photos of the kids, candid shots, real moments. I'm trying to figure out who I am when I'm not working, I said. We sat on my couch and had the first real conversation we'd had in years. Not surface-level updates, real things, her fears, my regrets. I'm sorry, I said, for not being there. I thought I was doing the right thing, but I was just absent. I know you thought you were doing the right thing, she said. That's what made it so hard. You weren't a villain. You were just gone. I want to be there now. I said. "If you'll let me." She smiled, sad but genuine. "I'd like that." It wasn't a magic fix, but it was a start. Month 5, something shifted. I stopped counting the days, stopped thinking about when I'd go back to work, started just being. I was sitting in a park one afternoon reading when I realized I was happy, not excited, not accomplished, just quietly, simply happy. When was the last time I'd felt that? I genuinely couldn't remember. I started visiting my mother every Sunday. She was 78, in assisted care. We'd sit in her little room and talk, really talk. She'd tell me stories about my father I'd never heard. "Your father worked himself to death," she said one afternoon. "We were both so focused on surviving that we forgot to live." I started crying. "I did the same thing, Mom. I became exactly like him." She took my hand. "But you're here now. That's what matters. You figured it out before it was too late." When my 6-month leave ended, I didn't go back. I resigned instead. My partners tried to convince me to stay, offered more money, more flexibility, but I didn't need anything from them anymore. The first year after leaving was disorienting. I had no structure, no identity. For 30 years I'd been Tom the consultant. Now I was just Tom. Who was that? I spent that year experimenting, took a woodworking class, made terrible furniture, then better furniture, found something meditative in shaping wood into something useful, started volunteering as a business mentor, not giving answers, but asking questions, helping young entrepreneurs figure out their own path, started a blog. Nobody read about lessons from my life. Didn't matter if anyone read it. Writing helped me process. And I met Patricia at the food bank, a widow who understood loss and rebuilding. We took things slow, cooked meals, took walks, had long conversations, built something real. "I like this version of you," she said once. "I'm still figuring out who this version is," I admitted. "That's okay," she said. "I like that you're still curious about yourself." My kids noticed the changes. Michael called one day and said, "Dad, you seem different, lighter somehow." "I'm trying to be," I said. "I wasted a lot of years being heavy." We started having regular dinners, father and son, trying to build what we'd never had. It was awkward sometimes, too many missed years, but we were trying. Claire and I got even closer. We'd spend weekends together. I'd teach her woodworking, she'd teach me about design. We'd cook together, talk about life. "I'm glad I get to know you," she said once. "The real you." When I turned 60, my family threw me a small party. Just my kids, Patricia, my mom, Danny, a few close friends, no colleagues, no professional contacts, no one I was trying to impress, just people who actually knew me. Michael gave a toast. "To my dad, who finally figured out that life is for living, not just achieving. I'm proud of you for having the courage to change." I cried. Didn't even try to hide it. This is what I'd been missing. Connection, presence, love. The simple experience of being known and valued for who you actually are. Now I'm 73. 21 years since I stood in that corner office feeling hollow. 21 years since I started becoming a person. And I can tell you this. Those 21 years have been better than the 52 that came before. Not easier, not more impressive, but better, richer, fuller, more alive. I still have regrets, 1,000 of them. I wish I'd figured this out at 30 instead of 52. Wish I'd been there for my kids' childhoods. Wish I'd known my father better. Those regrets don't go away. You don't get to undo your past, but you do get to choose your present and your future, however much of it you have left. I'm 73. Maybe I have another 10 years, maybe 15. Maybe I'll drop dead tomorrow. But I know this: I'm not wasting whatever time I have left. I'm with Patricia, building a life that's small and quiet and perfect. I'm with my kids and grandkids, present in ways I never was before. I'm in my wood shop. I'm volunteering, teaching, writing, learning. I'm living, not preparing for life, not achieving things to prove my worth. Just living, being here, being present, being myself. And it's enough, more than enough. It's everything I was looking for all those years while I was too busy looking everywhere else.